Hey everyone, here's an easy walkthrough guide on how to clear the Blighted Marsh in Saros, which is honestly a huge difficulty spike as a lot of the mechanics change in this area, so I'll be going over all the best strategies, what to grab, different secrets, because there's a lot of different areas where we can get some extra loot, as well as the different combat mechanics that change here, and things like grappling are very useful because that gives us some invincibility, and I'll also give a brief guide on how to take down the Legion boss at the end, which is honestly not too bad if you follow along with this guide. Now, this is actually a very difficult spot because there's poison on the ground everywhere, and a lot of the mechanics actually change here. In the previous areas, we're meant to use our shield often. In this area, I honestly don't think the shield is that great, and actually our melee is where we get a lot of our benefits from, because if you didn't know this already, you can actually melee through corrupted projectiles, get the power from them without taking any of that damage. So the melee also allows you to attack and also gives you a shorter cooldown than your dash. So we're going to be flowing between these two very frequently in this area. I wasn't a fan of meleeing too much until I got to this area and seen how valuable it really is. Now, the best weapon in my opinion is using the crossbow with the alt fire there. What's great about the alt fire is that if you're going against any of the flyers, and this map actually has a ton of flyers, you can use the alt fire to hit and use your regular fire on larger bosses like this one so you can hit all the projectiles on it. Also, when you go to the final boss, you're going to just use a regular version of that. But the best part about that alt fire is just the massive amount of flying enemies here. And it allows you to kind of cheese some of the areas because you can backpedal out of an area. So if you get into an arena and you don't like the area, you can leave it and shoot the projectiles off of the wall and they'll track and home in on enemies. So you can use that. And honestly, in this area, I would recommend backpedaling. The other good weapon is assault rifles. I found them actually pretty useful against the final boss here, but it is a little bit harder to hit some of the enemies where I could have just used the alt fire on the crossbow to take care of these enemies. Anytime that you see red projectiles now, you're going to want to parry them for most instances. The parry timing is actually kind of generous in this game. Even if you don't like to parry too much, you can get a lot of benefits from using it. Just because the cooldown on the parry is very short. Immunity after kill. This is actually one of the craziest artifacts you can grab, because you can see there I didn't take any damage because I was able to melee a target and take them out. So if you ever see the immunity after kill, that's one of the best for actually just going around and leveling. There are a lot of other ones and some even roles that are hard to find, but honestly, being able to get invincibility is super useful in this game because of all the stuff that goes on. Overdrive charge faster is another one that I really like. Overdrive will save you big time during the final boss because there's one attack that I just didn't really like to go against, and you can use it to give yourself basically invincibility. Now, there are two major mini bosses where you're going to lose most of your health in this fight. So the first one is facing off against this first mini boss from like the first area, but you got to fight against two of them. They have more health, they're more aggressive, and they hit harder. So it's an annoying fight, honestly. But the second one is we go against the boss of the area 3, and that is annoying as well. When you're going against two of these here, I would recommend just trying to stick as far away as possible. If you're using a shotgun, use the one that's got the stagger if you're going to use it that route. Because honestly, it's best when you're going against these just to stick far away, deal with the ads, avoid the poison, and you got to be on your toes, dashing often, because these enemies have a huge area of effect attacks that'll just take you out if you're not paying too much attention. You can't really parry too much of this, so I would honestly just recommend sticking far back against it and just playing the game like that. Whenever you go against the other boss, you're likely going to go into an area where you can use your grapple hook, which makes it a lot easier. And honestly, grabbing the repeater crossbow, if you can get a piercing round on it, that's honestly the role that I liked best for this. I found the crossbow works really good for the mobbing, so when you're going through the level, because again, it takes care of the flyers and stuff, but when we go against the final boss of this area, it just is really good. So you can see I got my overdrive ready because I picked up that artifact there. I could have used it here, but I saved it for the final boss, and I'm glad that I did because it made it a lot easier. But you can see we can actually cheese a lot of things by using the crossbow here. So this particular room pops up pretty much every single time. It's going to have a bunch of those worm-like enemies, which will die to one melee hit, and you can shoot at them from around the corners. And then there's also going to be this room here. Anytime you see those gates with something behind it, look up. There's oftentimes going to be little things you can just shoot at. Now here's the boss from Area 3. This fight was actually kind of brutal, and you're going to go against him every single time. You can parry that attack there, so that's something I would recommend doing, but this is very annoying. Honestly, whenever you're going against him, you're trying to stay away from him as much as possible. There's one grapple here. Whenever you end up fighting him in his boss arena, there's 4 grapples which you just go in a square around, but here we only have 1, so we want to basically play around it, so you get invincibility by using that. So you basically want to use it as kind of like your get out of jail free card, so I would play around around that, using jump pads is another nice thing. Depending on the arena that you go against this boss in, I've had a few different ones that are just kind of annoying, but honestly, you just want to try and stick away. These worms, best thing to do, melee them. A lot of the times, melee is the best way to deal with things. You'll also find this here. If you find this is the easiest source of blue orbs, which you can clear corruption with really easily, so I'd highly recommend that. And on top of that, another tip is I'd recommend going into the skill tree and grabbing any of the things that drop more of the heals off of enemies. You can get at least 4 of those right now, and I'd highly recommend grabbing that because it's going to keep your health topped up for when we go into the Legion boss here. Now, I do have a full guide on how to take care of the Legion. I'll link that in the comments, but the trick to this fight is to dodge to the side for a lot of these attacks. Whenever it pulls out this one, you can shoot at the little enemy projectiles there, or use your overdrive skill just to be able to avoid it altogether. But you're just shooting at that big glowing one in the middle. Again, I don't really like this attack, so I use my overdrive there to avoid it, dealing massive damage to the boss. And you can, again, just shoot at them there. But if you found this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below, and I hope you guys all have a great day.